today's headline: Missing Treasures from Scottish Museums. This has prompted museums across Scotland to investigate their archives, as it has been estimated that millions of items in Scottish museums and galleries are unaccounted for. Such an investigation was prompted after the British Museum in London identified that over 2,000 of their artefacts have been listed as missing. An unnamed staff member of the British Museum has been dismissed, and the Metropolitan Police Force has been alerted to this ordeal. Most of the items in the British Museum that have been lost are Greek and Roman gems and jewellery. However, some date as far back as to the late Bronze Age. The British Museum has asked for the help of the public in recovering these items, detailing the lost inventory on their website. So far, 60 artefacts have been returned through a mix of public health and thorough archival research. Sharing similar concerns as the British Museum, Scotland has joined in the hunt for the return of their own artefacts and missing treasures. Aberdeen Art Gallery has the largest number of missing items in their collection, with 245 artefacts gone awry in the past 5 years. However, not all hope is lost, as it is suspected that some items have simply not been recorded and are identified as missing by default, whereas other artefacts may have been stolen. It is suspected that Robert Gemmell Hutchinson's painting, Children Wading, was taken from Glasgow Museum in 1989 during an art heist. This heist occurred over 30 years ago, with artefacts from the world-renowned Burrell collection. Their whereabouts are still unknown to this day. Despite circulating fears of robbery occurring in collections, there has been no suggestion of increasing security in the Scottish museums, but rather a thorough investigation in the Scottish archives in the hopes of returning these artefacts. The Art Loss Register, or the ALR, which is used by museums, the police force, law firms and auction houses, managed to locate Hutchinson's painting after many years of searching, finding it up for auction. The museums are again putting their faith in the ALR in the hopes of returning the missing artefacts. Alongside this investigation process between Scotland and the British Museums, there has been increasing calls for the return of objects in UK collections back to their country of origin. In particular, the National Museum of Scotland holds one of the Benin bronzes from Nigeria. Nigerian officials have written to the National Museum of Scotland asking for the repatriation of the Benin bronzes, after identifying that they were stolen during the Boer War after a looting from British soldiers. Dr. Emmeline Smith from Glasgow University has said, throughout the UK, museums have come under pressure to return the looted objects in their collections. The conversation around the Benin bronzes has been instrumental in creating this momentum. Professor Daniel Hicks from Oxford University has identified 45 museums throughout the UK that are thought to be in possession of the Benin bronzes. Hicks reported to the Sunday Post, stating that artefacts must be resituated, likening it to the return of stolen artwork from the Nazis during World War II. He said there is no logical reason why the same processes can't happen for African cultural heritage. The connection between Scotland's missing treasures and calls for the repatriation of stolen goods has stirred anxiety in the Scottish and British museums, as they are asking for their missing items to be returned back to a collection which is not their country of origin, causing museum curators to be cautious in their approach for requesting for their return. The emphasis is now on the protection and care of these items when returned, rather than addressing calls for their return back to their native homes. This was Isla Boot for the Social Talks.